To finish this morning, I want to introduce you somebody who's not only has had great ideas, but has been able to take those ideas to market. Mark is a physiologist. He's a PhD physiologist who started at Mayo Clinic, but he had great ideas which he was able to take to a commercial end. Has founded over 20 or been part of founding of 20 startup companies and lead them to success. And I think he's probably really qualified to talk about the challenges facing people with good ideas and how they can take it to commercial success. His bio is incredible. I certainly had the pleasure of working with Mark for the past 10 years in one of the companies that he's founded, EnteroMedics, which is providing obesity treatment using vagal pacing. But you can see he's done a lot other ventures, and he's going to tell us a wealth of experience that he's gathered in the last 20-odd years. Mark, it's great to have you here.
Well, Mehran, thanks very much for that very kind introduction, and thanks to all of you for this invitation to be in this lovely venue and to have a chance to talk with each of you. What I wanted to spend my time today talking about is more about what's the right process to make sure that your idea becomes something that other people want to buy. So, you know, there's a lot of things you can come up with, there's a lot of things you can do, but the question is, are people going to need them, and are people going to actually go out and make something out of that? So that's what we're going to spend our time talking about today. And the way I want to approach it is really to focus on the medical device and diagnostic industry, what I'm going to call medical products. And because it is such a fast-growing area, we can talk a little bit about that. Surgical products, robotic products used in surgery, many of those kinds of things. We can talk about some of the growth drivers. We all know what they are. There's scientific advances in medicine, the demographics of an aging population. Certainly the fact that we as consumers really want to be much more involved in how we care for ourselves and how we make decisions. There are a lot of challenges, however. There are internal challenges to both within the company and within yourself as an inventor or an innovator. And there are the challenges that exist in the external environment. So take a few minutes, talk about those so that you're aware of those and you know what to do about them and think about them. Because without all of that, you really don't have all the keys that you need to really be successful. So what I'm going to talk about is a structured process that I've used that I think is critical for successful innovation. For a while, I did venture capital, and I saw thousands of business plans and companies. And I got a wealth of experience there in looking at the process that people go through to think about how you make something actually work. I've tried to distill some of that into experience from that and also from my own experience of having things happen to me. And one of the most important aphorisms, I love aphorisms, and you'll hear a few of them as we go through this, but one of the most important aphorisms that I think I've ever heard is, experience is what you gain just after you need it. And so what I want to try to do today is maybe give you some insight into some experiences that I've had so you get them just before you need it. And that's why these kind of conferences are so important, and that's why what you have the opportunity here to do is get a little bit of a leg up on what you need to do. We'll talk about some of the issues that are trending in the industry. I'll talk to you a little bit about the paradigm that I use when I start companies or work with people who are starting companies. And then I'll give you just a short case study on EnteroMedics that Dr. Anvari was instrumental in working with me when we first founded the company. So in terms of the development process itself, right? I think it's very important, whether you have a technology you're interested in or whether you do not, that you always start from the first principle of identifying the current clinical market need. There's got to be somebody out there, some need for what you're going to be doing. And then do what I call first principles review of the current approaches. What are you solving? Always ask yourself that question. What problem am I solving? This morning we've heard descriptions from a lot of people about the problem that they're solving. Right? That's the most important question. Engage experts. Get them to help you, and then figure out your therapy and figure out what your IP strategy is. Because IP is critically important. One of my other aphorisms, proprietary or perish. Be sure that you have locked in your IP at a time and a place that you know that you can protect yourself and that nobody else can come after you. So now all of a sudden the light bulb has gone off. You've put a little bit of soil in the bottom of your light bulb now and you've got a little plant growing, right? Because it's not all about just, a flash of brilliance. It's about the hard work of growing an idea. So now you have to go out and identify what is the technology candidate that you want to use, what is the whole intellectual property framework that you want to have in place. You want then to write a preliminary product specification. So I like to write preliminary product specifications that are as technology agnostic as they can be. In other words, before you start homing in on a technology, think about it in terms of the broadest possible brush. So think about it in solution sense, not in technology sense. So in other words, stay in the solution space of the problem rather than move into the technology space for as long as you possibly can. And from that, then design what I call the proof of concept experiment. I don't have time to talk today at any length about the proof of concept experiment, but I'd be glad to talk with anybody about it if they'd like. But it is a very important thing to do because you always have to make sure that you test the critical question for your technology and for your market. Many, many companies don't do that. They ask little questions around the edge. I call it nibbling. And they use up all their money while they're just asking little nibbling questions before they ask the question, does this really work for what I need to solve? Make sure you don't fall into that. Then move into the next phase, which is to confirm you actually have a market. So now that you've got this product specification, you've written out what your product's going to look like, how it's going to work, what's going to happen. Now, put together a series of questions about it and go out and ask the people that are actually going to use it and the people that are actually going to be helped by it. And find out for sure, is this what I really want?